All right. Hello again. We have a little sneak peek surprise live stream with an animal telepath. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I've been following Karen for a little while. And Karen, I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself. And please tell folks the book that you wrote and how it just like came out of you, this soul calling, so they know who you are and what you're all about.
Thank you, Kat. I'm so happy to be here. It was a great conversation that we've had. I'm Karen Wickerson. I'm an animal telepath. Been talking to animals since I was 3 years old. And the book I wrote called Listen to Your Animals, They Know More Than You Think. And the way it came about was literally a soul's calling. And I am a reluctant writer. Um, and I kept ignoring that part of me over and over again. I don't want to write the book, don't want to write this book. But my parents, my husband kept bugging me about it. And then all of a sudden, my soul just literally popping out of my chest saying, "You have to write this. This is a mandatory thing you've got to write." So once I realized that I'm not the one writing the book, that the animals will be talking through me, I was able to calm down. I wrote it and it got published within 8 months. That's how easy it was. Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
And won awards all around the world. Paris, San
Right.
Francisco, like, of course.
Yeah.
Um, something else we talk about, and you're going to want to hear the full length interview, you guys, but we really touch on how your intuitive gifts awakened, how you
Mm,
started sensing them and sharing them, and also how you shut them off. And then
yeah.
later gave yourself permission when you were doing that job transformation or shift. You knew you weren't happy working as a clinical counselor and that
Yeah.
something else was there. And then my favorite part of that story is that you're like, so I was like, honey, we're going to go to Mount Everest. But you had so many mic drops, like that this came out of nowhere. You, I think, described yourself as a couch potato, and then we're going to the base camp and we're training and all this. He's like, really? We're doing what? But would you share maybe just one of those mantras that came through while you were in that space that led you to the next thing?
Okay. So the one important thing that came to me while I was actually climbing to Mount Everest base camp with 70% capacity, the oxygen levels are getting lower with each elevation, was one, not one step at a time, but half an inch at a time, because you walk so slowly, there's not a lot of oxygen, and I will get to my destination. That was one step, half an inch at a time. And
Mm,
it would take me hours to get to the next village, but I got
mm,
to the next village. If
mm.
I am looking at something that's huge in front of me, it's like, how am I going to get, like, I'm looking at a village way up. We're getting there. How am I going to do that? Got to chunk it down. I
Yeah.
can do it one step at a time. And in 7 hours, we got to the next village.
So
Um, yeah, so that was the biggest piece. And I knew that our divine creator was with me through the whole
good.
episode, because as it turned out, I did need oxygen when we got to base camp. But I know that our creator was with me, source was with me, because the right people were with me, and
Mm.
just like trust the process, trust the process, trust the process.
So good, so powerful. And it was kind of the benchmark for the full transformation when you eventually
Yes.
left your job and then became a full-time animal telepath. And how you do that work, you can do it from anywhere, connecting through energy. We talk a little bit more about that. We also talk about a certain dog idiom. Will you share that one and maybe just a quick thought about that? But you'll want to hear the whole thing.
Yeah, so I don't have a dog in that fight. It's that's such, I mean, you can tear that apart, break it down on so many levels, right? Like literally, figuratively, all of that. How that really comes into play is that I get a lot of calls saying, "Why are my animals fighting? Why are they attacking strangers? Why are they attacking my husband?" And we've got to look at things not just from the perspective of the animal doing the action, but the whole system as a whole. What's going on that led up? What happened to that animal before in the lifetime? And what is going on in the moment? How are the other animals um, teasing that particular dog? Or what is the trauma that happened? What are the dynamics that are going on? It's such a great idiom, seriously. Hey guys, you've got a
It
question?
is. Yes, she has a question she'd like to ask. Bonus material here.
I love it.
Oh, I don't think we're going to ask about this question today. She just found a little incident I was referring to earlier. But you know what? I have a question I think you guys will find interesting because you know a lot about when animals cross over to the other side. We talk about it as the Rainbow Bridge. And you know
Yes,
what? Karen talks to animals and they
I
talk to
do.
her. Do you want to hear? And we hear the whole story in the full-length podcast episode. But since my children are here, do you guys want to hear something she has heard an animal say about crossing over? Do you want to ask about that?
So what they tell me is that not only do they cross over the Rainbow Bridge, but they go to the Rainbow Pasture, and they've shown me the pasture, and it's got all types of animals. They all get along, and they all meet each other once they leave their bodies, because they're just taking off their jackets like you would your snow jacket, like your big heavy winter jacket. They just unzip it and they walk out of it just like we do, and then they cross over the bridge, and then they get into the pasture, and then their friends, they greet them, say, hey, how was that? What was that like living with that family? What was it like living with that herd? What did you learn? And so what they get to do is that they get to go over what they learned as their soul, and what they liked about that life experience, what they didn't like, and they get to choose what form they want to take the next lifetime. They may go back as another cat or as another dog, or it's like, you know what, I want to learn what it means to live like a turtle. So they will actually go to a classroom and say, hey, I want to learn what it looks like, what it means to be a turtle, and what can I expect. So they're actually learning what that all means and what they can expect. What do you have there? A Valentine's coloring book. I love that.
Yeah, we can be a little bit random in the office here.
That's so great.
Okay. Karen, for anybody who's listening right now, and thank you so much for that story and explanation, how can people find you if they're, their soul calling, they need to meet with you today? Please tell us your website and it'll all be in the show notes. But again, in case anyone's listening today.
It's KarenWickerson.com.
Awesome. And we do have one more question.
I see that.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Danny.
Are all different animals in the pen?
The pasture?
In the pasture, all different animals. We're talking bunny rabbits living with snakes, living with giraffes, living with elephants, living with dogs, living with spiders.
Horses?
Horses, too. All animals live together in the rainbow pasture.
How big is it?
It's enormous. It goes on forever.
That's pretty cool to think
It's
about, right,
really
guys?
big.
Goes on forever.
What-
Yes, one more.
Yes.
Is it like Pangea?
Oh, yes,
Yes.
Pangea.
There you go.
Good job, Danny. Look at you. You're a podcaster.
Yeah. Thanks
All
for the
right.
question, Danny.
Can you thank the guest for answering?
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you so much for listening and for sharing your beautiful wisdom.
Thank you for having me.
Looks like we're going to check out into our weekend. Thank you, Facebook listeners, for being.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Kat. Thanks, Danny.
Appreciate you. And go listen to
Big
the
hugs to
animals.
you. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.